Let's start with the medalist who is headed back to the tour, Lanto Griffin. How about that performance?
Well, Rich, there was a moment shortly after Lanto finished his round today, and a significant moment, mind you, in that he made sure to seek out Hayden Buckley, who also earned his card. And these are two guys, Rich, who share a common thread in recent years when you consider the injuries that they have had to overcome and still overcome. Lanto Griffin had a microdiscectomy back in 2022. Hayden Buckley tore a rib muscle last year to derail a solid start to his PGA Tour career, and both started this week with very limited status out on the PGA Tour. In fact, Lanto discovered a few days ago that he didn't even have starts on the KFT to begin 2025. And a little bit more about Lanto Griffin. He knows that it's going to be a very difficult year next year to keep his card when you consider that just 100 cards will be available to the highest finishers in the FedEx Cup point standings. And he's also going to start the year in that reorder category, which struggled to get starts a year ago. And yes, he's been outspoken in recent years, but he's choosing to stay positive. He's healthy, he's refreshed, he's got a family now, he's got a kid, he's a dad, and he's ready to prove people that he's more than just a good quote.
One guy feeling the pressure down the stretch today in Northeast Florida was Matthew Riedel. He really responded. What'd you think of Riedel?
This came as a little bit of a shock to me, Rich, and I spent a little bit of time with him this morning on the range, and he was as loose as can be, and I've known him for 6 or 7 years now. His caddy was throwing golf balls onto a target about 80 yards away, but he stepped on that first tee, and he needed to pack some Dramamine because he made 3 birdies, 3 bogeys, and a double, turned in 37. And I asked him afterwards, what were you feeling as you go from co-leader to suddenly below the cut line?
Kind of let a few go on 9 and then bogey 10 too. I was trying to just be in the moment the whole time. I kind of knew adversity would come my way today, so just wanted to kind of face it, just head up, chest up. So knew I had a chance. I mean, my games felt good all week. It didn't really feel good today, which I didn't really expect it to kind of feel great and feel easy, but just kind of took it one shot at a time and trusted kind of myself in the preparation I'd done the last few months, kind of coming off Korn Ferry, and happy the way it ended up.
Can you explain the feeling, what it's like coming down the stretch with a PGA Tour card on the line?
I've been in some nervous situations. That was by far the most nervous. Is a little bit of just tunneling, of just not really being able to see anything. But honestly, I just leaned on a lot of the preparation I'd done kind of leading up to this, and just in practice and all that. I mean, I have a lot of self-belief, and just glad it kind of worked out the way it did. But it's stressful. It's different.
You've been overshadowed at times in your junior career, your college career, amateur career. What does your mind go to when you think about now that you're going to be playing on the PGA Tour in 2025?
It's weird to think of, but I mean, I got to go out there and compete. It's tough out there, so I got to go get a little better, and it's going to kind of demand my best. So I'm excited for that challenge, and want to take that kind of head up and see what it takes.
Well, one of those past experiences that Riedel drew on was a couple years ago, the Cabo Collegiate. He had the lead going into the final round. The co-lead actually made a late triple bogey, ended up losing by quite a few shots. And you talk about a guy who was, like I said, overshadowed by the likes of Cole Hammer in high school and Gordon Sargent and Cole Sherwood in college. Well, Matthew Riedel made it to the PGA Tour before all of them.
They're not losses, they're learning experiences. Lastly, Brently, how about one of the surprising names that made it through today?
Well, if Riedel was overshadowed by stars on his team, I think Will Chandler was overshadowed by the 5th guy. And he'll agree, his college career at the University of Georgia was not very good. He played in just 20 events. He beat He finished in the bottom third of the field in 13 of those starts, beat just 28% of his competition in college. But the great thing about this game is that it doesn't matter what you did. It matters what you do today and do moving forward. And Will Chandler this year on the Korn Ferry Tour started the year with absolutely no status anywhere. Monday qualifies not into just one event, but 5 tournaments. And you could say that that experience served him well today, sort of a simulation to a Monday qualifier. He started the day a couple shots back, ends up shooting 66 and had that great eagle putt to where before he wasn't even thinking about a PGA Tour card, and all of a sudden here he is on the PGA Tour. We talk so much about all the great University of Georgia players that have played on tour, from Brian Harmon to Kevin Kisner, Sepp Straka. There were 10 on the PGA Tour last year, and we're going to add an 11th in Will Chandler, perhaps the most unlikely of all Bulldogs.